also want to mention today is also the 80th anniversary of D-Day as well, and the invasion in France as well. So my father was also one of he was there in Normandy.
Yeah.
He wasn't there day one during the invasion, but he was there day two during the invasion of Normandy. And there is there is my dear father.
Oh.
Yes, it's. I look at these pictures, and it's amazing to see him. He was on a merchant ship. Actually, he was part of the Merchant Marines before World War II, and then obviously World War II began, and they were kind of brought into the service. And he would mention stories to me every once in a while.
I was just about to ask you to talk about it.
It was very much in passing, especially about when he arrived at Normandy on day two. And he would say things here and there, but he would talk about being on the ship more. He would say things that he did see that day when he arrived. And you know, I look at pictures of my father, and I miss him. I miss him terribly.
You look just like him.
I really do.
The resemblance.
I miss him terribly when I see photos like that of him, because he was an incredible. He was an incredible guy.
Like a remarkable
He really
man.
was. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm glad you shared these today.
He really was, and everybody who knew him had nothing but good things to say about my.
You look just like him.
To say about my father.
You do. No.
So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you shared those today. And
That's
I know also Ted Nesi's going to be doing a special tonight at 5 p.m. Richard Fazio. He had interviewed him, and I was watching some of the clips this morning, and it seems like it's going to be an emotional interview. So it's a day to remember and think about. And
you look back at these people who fought in World War II or who entered the service, and the bravery of these people who were there. A lot of these people, especially during World War II as well, they were young. They had no idea what they were going to be facing. And then even on a day like this, when they had to storm these beaches, they had no idea what was really on the other side.
Yeah.
And my father would tell me stories many times of the ships that he was on. And many times he couldn't swim. He was on the ocean for I don't know how many years and couldn't swim to save his life.
Right.
But he would say the ships would go down, down, down in the water, and he never knew if they were going to come back up again. Or they would say to him, "Bill, why don't you go on this ship with me?" And thank God he didn't take that mission, because at the time those merchant ships were taken out. They were taken out, and he wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have been here either. So a lot of respect, and I'm glad the president is there today, and he is going to be going to visit the cemetery as well, and that's what presidents are supposed to do. Okay, Brendan, good morning. It's Thursday morning, and here we are.
Great to see you both. You have often said to me, Will, how much I look like my dad.
Yes.
And it's the same for you. We turn into them.
You do.
It's really remarkable when you look at those photos. And
the resemblance is very strong.
Yeah. Unbelievable. But today a good day to be mindful of the sacrifices made. Those men 80 years ago.
Right.
The bravery, like you said, Will, just unparalleled.
Yeah.
It's incredible, really.
Imagine like the parents too back home, knowing that their their children are out there.
There was none of this.
You
didn't know what was going on or where they were.
The soldiers out there, worried about their families.
Right. And how special, Will, that you still have those photos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
My dad was. I miss him terribly.
And he would be so proud of you. He was. Well,